Welcome to the Tread Podcast. I'm the Real Estate Don, and the reason I clarify Real Estate Don is because there is a Don Davis Auto Group, but I am the Real Estate Don Davis Realty Group, where we focus on this podcast on making Proverbs 6:24 decisions to navigate properly, not only through real estate, but through life. Welcome back to the Tread Podcast. I have a special guest in the studio today, none other than Marquis Harmon. Marquis is one of my favorite mentors, I should say, in business, but also when it comes to cryptocurrency, AI, and just taking things to the next level with the blockchain and motivational speaking. Welcome, Marquis.
Thank you, Don. Pleasure to be here today.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to have you. I ran across you, I believe it was at one of your networking events, and somebody had told me about one of your networking events, and I heard nothing but good things about that. Tell me more about that.
That's awesome. The Creative Corner Store is a concept that really brings creatives, entrepreneurs, seasoned veteran executives like yourself, people who've been in business, professionals for a long time, bringing you into a collective space where we're verifying, validating ideas through and implementing AI tools.
Gotcha. And I heard you mention something before about saying that you didn't want the Creative Corner Store to be like your traditional networking event. Expound on that a little bit more.
Right. Well, I've been going to networking events, conferences, workshops for the last decade. And when you go, it's typically traditional speed dating, drinking, card swapping, and it's very rarely is there a deeper connection or an opportunity to go deeper because you're trying to meet so many different people. Your eyes are shifting as you're connecting with one person, so you're never present. So the goal was to bring more of a workshop feel, where people are able to engage and work together and talk in small group settings.
Exactly. And I've been to some real estate conferences like that. And I tell everybody the other concept, the previous concept that you mentioned was more like, almost like speed dating, like you mentioned, but versus the real estate conferences and the Creative Corner Store, it's more of a workshop where not only are you going to connect with the right people, but you're going to add value to the right people so you can collaborate and do more business together. Name some of the people that you've had at your events that you can disclose. I know you do hang with some higher end people that might not want the name out there, but go ahead and just give a few good testimonials of the Creative Corner Store. Well, and then I want to go all the way back with the name, where the Creative Store concept, the name itself came from.
Awesome. I'll go directly there. For me, I'm a neighborhood kid. I'm just a guy living, my best dream. And, I grew up in a neighborhood where there were corner stores. Big Mama had a store down the street. She had something out of it. But in those stores, you heard stories. At the barbershop, you heard stories. Yes. You went to the bodega, you sat there, you got a sandwich, you got what you needed, and you got so much more. You got information, you had news, you might have had, the insight on a new deal or something.
Yes.
You just don't know. So for me, as a creative person, an entrepreneur, I'm always looking at ways to really connect with other people. And I felt like, well, where do we all go? Late night when you have that idea, when you jump out of bed or you can't go to bed. Mm-hmm. Like, let's go to the Creative Corner Store. Gotcha. Let's go meet up with other people who's also, pondering on an idea, chewing on something. But the piece that they can't get over is the value that I have, and the value that I need is the piece that they have.
So what you're doing is you're bringing community back.
Absolutely.
Bring community back, because I think what happened with gentrification and the disbursement of, housing and projects and things like that, it seems like our community dispersed to the suburbs.
Oh, man.
But we lost some of the good values of knowing that so-and-so lives right down the street. You can go right there and ask her for advice.
Absolutely.
And you can go right there and ask. So you're bringing community back through an online presence.
Absolutely. Right now, we with AI and Web3, the third phase of the internet. There's so many different diverse tools. You know, there's crypto, there's blockchain, there's NFTs, which are smart contracts. There are distributed ledgers. There are companies, decentralized autonomous organization, which is no different than an automated version of Pepsi or your local corporate company, whoever you can imagine. We're moving into this space where everything will and is becoming automated and digitized, and we need to be engaging at least on a day-to-day level with this technology so that we're able to optimize our own lives and our own, hustles or whatever it may be.
And I see that coming into the real estate industry as well. It used to be that we only knew real estate agents in our market, but I'm actually on my way to Los Angeles at the end of this month. We have the National Black Real Estate Association meeting, and now through our platform, NAREB, which is National Association of Real Estate Brokers, we're able to connect each other, not only for learning, not only for technology, for websites, but we're able to pass referrals, clients, certifications, development projects. Everything is done via the web to where we're able to connect. So even though the world seems bigger, technology makes the world smaller.
Extremely smaller.
Yes,
and that's what big data has done. Big data has given the world clarity in the business world, in real estate. Like, you don't have to guess anymore.
Yes.
You can go to ChatGPT right now on your phone and in 30 seconds change your entire life.
Perfect segue. So let's talk about that, because nowadays we have to vet everybody before we do business. We want to see how many reviews you have. We want to see your background, your bio, your resume, your LinkedIn, your ChatGPT. Let's go ahead and touch on your. Well, let me touch on mine first. So mine is, I was a football player. You were a football player.
Yes,
so that's
sir.
where we connected first. And people say,
well, you flashing this big ring over here. And you got these big championship rings over there.
I wear those rings because you have bad days and you got to remind yourself. And,
yes, sir.
My podcast engineer here was just reminding me that sometimes you're going to meet people who try to tell you not who you are.
Yes, sir.
And then, so when I look down, I'm like, no, you ain't talking to me.
Yes, sir.
You ain't talking to me. I know I won the Snoop Dogg Youth Football National Championship in 2014. I know I won the conference championship at Howard Payne University in 1993, 94, and 95. And then I have enough rings to where I don't wear them all at one time. So I know what it takes to win. And you know what it takes to win because you played 4 quarters. You played Eastern Illinois. You played Division I football. But during Division I football, we were talking about earlier that sometimes in battles and of getting to your destiny, some things are going to get in the way that can deter you. Let's talk about on your testimony. You share as much as you like to share on how at one point in your life, you had some obstacles that came right before you were about to graduate from college, right?
Absolutely.
There was a battle you had to face right before you graduated from college, but now you're still speaking to Fortune 500 companies. So what the devil meant for bad, it still didn't work because you're still fulfilling your destiny.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So go ahead and share on your testimony as much as you like to elaborate, just because we know we're in the online industry now. So everything's out there.
It's out there.
So let's do the sandwich technique, as they say in the corporate world. Tell them something good, tell them something bad, and tell them something good, because that really comes from the Bible, by the way.
For sure. For sure. The good is that God is everything.
Yes.
In whatever capacity you speak to him or you call him.
Yeah.
Like, I know him to be true.
Yes.
I know him to be the God that I call on. And, at 22, I was literally 9 a.m. I give you the exact date and time, January 24th, 2011. I woke up. I walked to my practicum class for the beginning of the semester, knowing I'm about to graduate in 10 months.
Wow.
3:30 p.m. that day, I was being interrogated.
Wow.
At a local police department.
Wow.
11:51 p.m. that night, for the first time in my life, I was walked into a jail cell being charged with first-degree murder and homicide.
Wow.
All because I was at work.
Wow.
A week, 5 days prior.
So this is a young man who went to college, got a job.
I wasn't gangbanging.
Yeah,
I wasn't in the streets. I wasn't that guy. I was literally... I had already overcome a significant amount of pressure and odds in my life at that point.
To get to that point.
So now, there's already this identity crisis taking place, because now I'm embarking on the reality of I have to become him.
Yes.
I have to become
Now
better
I gotta
than the
be.
story
Yes.
that was.
Yes.
And then boom, I get knocked right off the hill.
Wow. Wow.
The pattern and the rhythms, God is always in the rhythms and the patterns, and you have to become aware of the signs. And he knocked me down so low where I had no choice but to call out and cry out, right?
Yeah.
And seek something beyond whatever I was.
Now, give me that timeline. Is that the first 6 months you in prison?
6 months. First 6 months. I sat in jail 6 months before they gave me. I was offered an opportunity to take a lie detector test, a polygraph.
Wow. Okay.
And it was in that 6 months that I broke.
Yes.
Spiritually, like I broke. It was like I know for a fact. Anything that comes after that, it has nothing to do with me other than the obedience and humility.
You knew that God was gonna have your back no matter what.
At some point, it has to stop.
Yes.
At some point, it'll be over.
The real will prevail. And
I'll take this over that, and then in
Yes.
that silence, I found the resolve to just sit and to trust and
Yes.
begin focusing my concentration on things that could help me when that time does come. If that door does spring, and when it does, I need to be a better person and version so that this doesn't happen again.
So then you're back. So finally you back. You're what's your next step? I'm back. I've learned. I've networked because people don't realize I do prison ministry. You can do good networking in prison, or you can do bad networking. You can surround yourself and say, when I get out, we're going to do dirt.
I tell people all the time, man, there are some people that I've come across in my young days that need to be inside of a prison.
Oh, no doubt.
100%. You need a little more time to just sit here and think about some things. 100%.
And I'm going to tell you like this. It's one of the, right now, a lot of people have the money for rehab and things like that. But the best rehab for drugs is prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best rehab for drugs. But I'll say this: you like I say, it's what you make of it.
It's what you make of it.
And then and I can even go to the construction level to where I went on, my son's in college. I have 3 boys playing college football, and I went on a few official visits, and I started noticing some of the facilities were similar to some of the prison facilities. So I started noticing governmental institutions.
Hey, man, I left a college institution. I was chained hands and feet to a van.
Yes.
And I entered into a prison correctional facility.
Correct.
And the two looked the same.
Exactly.
They looked the exact same, man.
You had chow. You had chow at the same time.
Hey, it tripped me out, It really did. It was like, oh, this can't be normal. Like, what is life right now?
But I will say this, what you did learn from that was to study, hit the books even more. And now what you're studying and what you're learning, which also comes back to what we do in real estate. See, real estate was created to basically protect the public from unscrupulous brokers, which was wholesaling in the 1800s and 1900s. People think they wholesaling private. Oh, that's new. No, the real estate agent ain't nothing new under the sun. Well, real estate agents were created. We are real estate police. That's all we are. We police the real estate industry. And some police are bad. There's bad cops and there's good cops. I've been a real estate broker for years. I've been a real estate broker 19 years. And I'll tell you some real estate agents that's in it for, we talked about earlier, some in it for the quick buck, some in it for the long haul. But when you're called to be a cop in this industry, I know I'm in it for the state of home ownership in Black America, to create more homeowners, to create wealth through our Black community by home ownership and investing in areas that are gentrifying, where the corner stores are and things like that. Because the corner store, believe it or not, is what people are after now, because that community brought a lot of money to the community.
Yes, sir.
Those communities were very, very strong, not only in culture, but in finance.
Yes,
also, they were proximity to downtown. They were closer to jobs.
Yes, sir.
So now that what was the worst real estate to own at one point due to crime and violence is now the best real estate to own.
Yes, sir.
But also, I want everybody to realize, because I have some friends that were raised in Compton, they said Compton was like Frisco at one point. Yeah, they said Compton started off good, and then crack came. Yeah, so when there's time, when there's time to destroy, or to, let's just say, slow someone's momentum,
dismantle.
We'll
use the colloquial term here. The dismantling.
When it's time to dismantle your progress, then it's time to.
There's all these different systems and adversities. And, to that point, you see it with the prison system, you see it with the legal system, you see it with in arbitration, you know, in the courts.
Yes.
You see it in the appraisals,
Yes.
in the values,
Yes.
and the attaining or ascertaining value to said
Correct.
properties in said areas,
Correct.
and how, you know, capital and wealth is siphoned away, and the dismantling of ownership.
And that's why we have to have our people in every office. So you need to have black underwriters. You have to have black appraisers. You also have to have somebody who has the ability to take that education in that industry to help each other out.
100%.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I feel like you are spearheading the corner store, but also the other community. What is it called that you put together? I think
Grace Point neighborhood.
Grace
Yes,
Point
sir.
neighborhood. So elaborate more on Grace Point.
Well, Grace Point, I'm a Just Economies Institute fellow out of San Francisco, and it's a community of practitioners working in finance in all areas, all regions of the world, doing amazing work, whether it's philanthropy, whether it's private equity, whether it's donor advised funds. Being immersed in that world gave me an opportunity to really understand what it takes to really keep the world going.
Gotcha.
Right? Not just from a like, hey, I get up and I take my money or my debit card to the store and I buy, but working with people who are architecting these systems.
Gotcha.
And learning the back end. And I spent 10 years, you know, 4 or 5 of them, no income, like literally putting everything and myself at risk because I became so obsessed with understanding how these systems are winning.
Gotcha.
And how we're doing so much. I'm hearing, oh, there's trillions of dollars that the Black American community is moving against consumer goods every year, but yet we own nothing, we control nothing, we have no say, and we're whatever the, you know.
Yeah, I heard that today. I was listening to a sermon from Bishop Jamal Bryant. He said something about chewing gum, how much blacks spend on chewing gum a year.
The numbers,
yes.
And that when you sit and read, and I'm a reader. Prison taught me to read voraciously.
Word for word.
There was a 2,500-page discovery that was found in my case. I wanted to know everything because my life was in the balance.
Wow.
Right, and if one mistake is missed, you know, then that's it. I don't get to say because, you know, I know how this goes. In the same way in business, I'm a voracious reader because I'm super careful because there are not many people like me. There are not many people like me who are given those opportunities to sit and learn these different tools and instruments and ask questions. So I want to be prepared.
So that's and I'm gonna bring that home to some of our younger guests who are in college and things like that. So they get an essay, they have to write an essay, or they have to do a book report on an assignment. Your assignment was 2,500 pages, and your life depended on it.
Simple.
So you knocked that out. That's
my father wrote me a letter, and he said, and my father also was had been in the prison system, and he says, "Son, listen, that's in this situation. The law books will save you."
Wow,
that's all. He sent more, but the first 2 sentences.
Yes.
The first 2 sentences in this letter were the law books will save you.
Wow.
I had to become a reader. Like that was the end of the story. And in business, as an entrepreneur, millennial, one of the things I think we take for granted is the research and the knowing, like the reading and the proper diligence that you give researching, studying, which prompts questions that you can then take to an AI like Chat GPT and say, hey, help me to understand this in this way so that I can do this said thing, right? We take it for granted. We take like 1%, I think it's a study, says after the age of 18, the average American will read 1 book.
Wow.
Most people never even read the Bible, but they commit every week to the church.
Yes. Well, and that's what I was going to talk about. Basically, what your dad said that was so important is that read the law books instead of hire the lawyer first. In our community, we're so quick to go put our house up, get a lawyer the money, and guess what we're paying the lawyer to do? Read. We're paying him to read.
And he's not even reading. She's not even reading. The paralegal is doing all the research.
Yes. So it's the mid-level that does all the reading. And I'll say this: I'm a real estate coach. I'm a real estate broker. Been doing it 18 years, and we have something called a transaction coordinator in real estate now.
Correct.
So a transaction coordinator will help you with your paperwork so you can sell more houses. And that's good if you've been doing real estate about 10 or 20 years. But if you got your real estate license last month and you hire a transaction coordinator, do you think you're educated enough to help somebody in $1 million transaction or a first-time home buyer, a $200,000 transaction. You're literally paying somebody to do your work before you learn how. That's literally like me saying, hey, man, if I pay you some money, you want a basketball trainer, can you turn me into Jordan overnight? You can't turn me into Michael Jordan for money. Michael Jordan had to go out there and shoot the basketball. He had to go ahead and work on his craft. And knowing our craft is so important that we have to read, we have to study, we have to constantly improve. You have to read books on what's going on in the industry, the podcast, all what do you call it? Audio books, anything that's gonna keep you on top of everything. Because you're right. As soon as you quit reading, as soon as you quit learning, that you don't stay the same. You get worse.
Absolutely. And with Grace Point neighborhood, bringing it back to the tokenization, right? The part that kept me hungry, that kept me up at night, learning more, was that every aspect of learning throughout the process that I was doing, bringing myself from the prison up to the palace, I could also build this system in a blockchain that is Grace Point, and I can incentivize you, and everybody else for taking the time to read it. Because that is the only way, in my mind, that we can actually pull each other up in a way where we're able to get to community syndication deals.
Exactly.
Where we can take collective, hey, you live in this block, bring your $50, put it in this token every month. And every month it accrues in value. You can leverage it just like I'm leveraging it. And you can make the same moves that I make, and you're learning along the way. And the more you learn, the more you have to say. The more you learn, the more access you have, the more opportunities you have in the economy. And that's how it has worked over and over and over throughout history. Because again, real estate's not going to change. God ain't made no more earth.
No.
Right? They trying to get to Mars. So we have to find ways to use what we have right now so that we can collectively cooperate and own something that we weren't able to own 5, 10, and even 50 years ago.
Correct. So, and that's what I'm learning too, is that basically that what I'm looking at now is that land and technology are really the digital real estate.
Property tech is blowing up.
Yes,
and it has been.
Prop tech.
There's already cryptocurrencies and NFTs being used to close on houses.
Yeah, I literally had a gentleman that worked for Costco 6 months ago in Frisco. Hey, I said, hey man, I know Costco pays pretty well, but that down payment you put is like 4 Costco salaries.
Yeah, where you coming from with this? Not my man working at Costco.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so so he said, well, this is what I do when I'm not at work. I do crypto, I do EXRP.
Wow.
Yeah, so he but he's very low key. You would never know. And so
at Costco, hanging out.
Yeah, at Costco.
Super happy. Boy, loving his job.
Welcome to Costco. How can I help you? But knowing his trading, his EXRP and everything is definitely at another level. So that is definitely true. And by the way, the title company's already prepared to accept those down payments. It's actually more secure because a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of spoofing that goes on when they tell you to wire your funds to close.
Yep.
If that domain on that email is one letter off, that wire you send could be going outside of the country. So, but you mentioned also something about financial. Well, you didn't say financial advisor, but you made me think about financial advisor, and your concept is a little bit more sturdy.
I am not a fiduciary.
Yeah, you're not a fiduciary, but I could tell right away you're actually better than a fiduciary because you're encouraging the people to read first and not just give you the money.
Absolutely.
That most financial advice say, just give me the money. Give me your money and let me take care of it for you.
I mean, so, we have to talk about the mental aspect and the emotional, the social, emotional, and the mental well-being aspect in our community and the trauma.
Yes.
Because it's real. Yes. And until I became aware of social, emotional, or social economics and how the two, from like Dr. Thomas Sewell, amazing black sociologist out of Chicago. When you put the two together, the trauma and the behavior, the habits, I could put it in front of you. I can lead a horse to water.
Yes.
But you will not drink it. I guarantee it.
So are you saying some of our tendencies about retail versus wholesale, or just how we squander our money?
How we feel about money as
wrong.
A whole is wrong. And we're living like we're doing the thing that we preach over and over and over, and sometimes even myself, but it's like we're just in this massive loop that never ends of doing what we know is not working and continually trying to do it over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And people, though, we're watching the entire world say, "Hey, we're adopting the future. We're adopting the future that is now." And we're saying, "No, not yet.
Yeah.
No, I'll wait on it."
Like that
Well,
one commercial. It's a commercial. I forget about the guy was doing all the old stuff, and they were like, "If you do it this way, it's better." But the guy was like, "Nah, I want to do." He was using like a phone with a cord and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
But so that's what's that socio
Dr. Thomas Sewell.
Dr. Thomas Sewell. So make sure everybody looks up Dr.
Oh,
Thomas
he's
Sewell.
amazing.
And on my end in the real estate industry, a lot of people say, well, Don, are you the number one real estate agent? Or I'm not the number one real estate agent nowhere, but I am. Well, in my house, I'm the number one real estate agent in my house. But I will say this: everybody has a mentor, and so in my industry, Don Peebles is the mentor. Don Peebles has done a couple of large transactions with Donald Trump. A lot of people don't realize Don Peebles is kind of like one of Trump's real estate mentors. So Don Peebles is a brother out of New York. He flies back and forth from New York to Miami. But when it comes, if anybody ever tries to tell you they're the tycoon in real estate, it's Don Peebles. But you won't see him on a lot of, he'll come to a podcast every once in a while. But it also goes back to what you said earlier, is how we view wealth. So the wealthier you get, the less you are in front of everyone. The wealthier you get, so they say, why haven't I heard of Don Peebles? Don Peebles doesn't want everybody to hear of him. You see what I'm saying? But we're taught
He's a brother?
Yes.
See, I've never met.
Yes.
I never, it's honest to goodness, the room where we met on the podcast, that was one of the most like aha moments for me in my journey.
Correct.
From the prison to the palace, to be in a room at a table listening to black men, my elder, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, talk about success. I'd never been in the room. I'm always the speck of pepper.
I finally experienced that about it was in 2014. I grew up in San Antonio. San Antonio is gangbang in the military. Gangbang in the military or NFL. Those are your choices. When you grew up in San Antonio, you're going to go to NFL. So we got Priest Holmes. We got NBA. We got Shaq from San Antonio. And then we got military. You go to military. So I didn't make it to the NFL. I got as far as I could with arena football. Have friends that went to the NFL, but thank God, Priest Holmes, first properties he bought from me, gave back to his teammate. Right but on. I say that to say, I experienced your feeling when I first moved to Sugar Land, Texas.
Oh, boy.
And I drove by these golf course houses, and I'll never forget. And I was like, "There's a brother there, brother." I said, "Man, these brothers." This whole street is brothers.
Yeah, the joy I felt when you said Sugar Land Golf. I was like, oh, boy. This is awesome.
So then that's when I realized, okay, so maybe it's where I grew up. So now let me start researching more. So then once I joined the National Black Real Estate Association, they have a focus where we can find out the median income of blacks doing well in certain cities. And that's when we learned that, okay, Fort Bend County, which is the southwest side of Houston, Collin County right here in Dallas is one of the highest communities, and then the Gwinnett County outside of Atlanta are places where blacks are doing well that can actually help each other. But I also tell everybody this, we do well to do better, but we still have an obligation to go back and help at the corner store.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you cannot save everybody. I've learned that as well. Ooh. You cannot save everybody. But if you have somebody like yourself who is open to learning and going to the next level, and that's what you've done, you've surrounded yourself with people that not only can learn from you, but you took it to the next level to inspire others, and then also go to surround yourselves like in those groups you were talking about. What's it called? The
Just Economies Institute.
Just Economies Institute. When you go there, you've I guess you found some people in there that really gravitate to you just because you are one of the few. Well, let's talk about that. Yeah. How many blacks are in that group with you?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually brought in the group 2020 during COVID.
Okay.
It was very uncomfortable, although I knew it was an authentic invitation because it had happened prior. George Floyd had just happened.
Yes.
Right. So for me, it took on in that moment an even deeper reasoning of like, you must continue on this walk, because quite frankly, when COVID hit, I was tired, man. I was done. I was like, this ain't paying. Nobody's gonna work. Wow. Nobody knows about Bitcoin. But being in those rooms at that time was really encouraging, again, because it brought my small town corner store thinking to, multi-billion-dollar and multinational deal committees where I'm being able to work on deals that are closing in others' realm day to day. Like they are doing work in 3 time zones
at the
and
same
5
time.
different countries
Oh,
at the same time, and I made impact in this deal. So it was, sometimes the journey's not always about the profit.
Yes.
The profit often comes in wisdom and experience.
Yes.
And my experience and again, which comes from reading, right? One of the most influential books that turned the corner for me was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
2014, somebody handed me that book. I was home from prison a year. And I had started a reentry program to help others in my hometown.
Okay.
Because I just thought the system was really messed up. I
Yes.
knew it and heard about it, but I felt it was really messed up. But Mr. Jerry, man, I'll never forget Mr. Jerry Whiteman at that. Older white veteran brought me that book. He said, Marquis, I was at my cabin fishing this weekend. I saw this book and I thought of you, and I hope it does you well. And I swear to goodness, that book is the reason why I've been able to, work and be in the rooms, present at the UN and do all this, be in this tech room, because it opened my mind to the playing field.
Wait. So you just ran over that like it wasn't that. So you presented at the UN?
Yeah. A couple of occasions.
Yes.
Really, it was God and happenstance at the same time.
Yeah.
The World Syrian Refugee Summit in Istanbul, Turkey was my first time really being exposed to a large scale, what's known as a hackathon, which is a problem-solving workshop or convention of programmers, hackers, private equity firms. At this time, Syria was having a mass exodus. People were, stuck in these refugee camps, and they were hungry, and there were solutions that were needed. The United Nations called this massive conference. Somehow I was in the bunch as a speaker and an author, and given an opportunity to not just MC, but be a part of the working groups.
What's the name of your book, by the way?
Thinking Out Loud to Myself.
Thinking Out Loud to Myself.
Yeah,
and they can buy it online?
Yes, sir. You can find it at Amazon, and it's really just a collection of my journals throughout a 5 to 6 year period in my mid to late 20s and early 20s from the time in college, and but being in those rooms, being exposed to technology, having been exposed to the money later helped me to really understand that I was uniquely positioned to solve some type of problem. Gotcha. And, to your point earlier, one of the things that we overlook is data, right? Where oftentimes we don't understand how to use the data. And what I've been, trained to do is to see the story in the data, where at the Creative Corner Store, one of the things I learned through building the tokenized system of GracePoint was you don't need 1 billion people.
No.
I don't need 1 million followers. I'm not looking to be the next viral sensation.
You need the right
We
followers.
just need the specific group of people working in tandem, and utilizing our system and our structure to really show us what can and will work. And that's what we take and go build a better product on.
Gotcha.
And that's what the Corner Store is about, is bringing those different people that are going to help us practice in a transparent way. We're not trying to hide our hands.
Exactly.
We're trying to help build each other up.
Brainstorming.
So what can work, what doesn't work, who can help, who can't help, how can we help you, how can you help us, what gifts do you have us, what needs do you have from us, right? In a transparent way. And because we have the blockchain, we have tokens and different identifications that allow you to forever see it. No one can take it from you.
I have a network I want to associate you with as well for former athletes that do that. So it's former NFL players or any type of pro athlete, and they also take Division I athletes as well. Because I didn't go pro either. I would like to say arena football, but it's a network of, I think it's the Ponder Institute, but that's exactly what they do as well. It's where athletes brainstorm with different ideas off of each other to how they can help each other start businesses and go to the next level.
I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah, because I think people always trying to dummy down the athlete, but they don't know the perseverance. I tell everybody we were student athletes. That means we had to do our homework and work out.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't the best. I was not the best. So y'all, when you go do your research on me, just know I was that guy on the yard. I was outside. I was definitely outside.
Look, we had to do.
You know?
And I tell everybody, see, if with a student athlete, that means you didn't give us enough to do. See, we need a lot of stuff to do. If we can do our homework in 5 minutes, that's trouble. Because then we go.
I was just sharing with my friend the other day the schedule. You know, starting sometimes 4:30 to 5:15 a.m. mandatory breakfast.
Yes,
and your day doesn't stop till 11. You know,
at night.
And it was really over at 10, but the coaches watched the same clip in film session for the last 20 minutes of you making the wrong step.
Exactly.
After making an amazing catch.
Yes. But they had to find something to coach us.
Man, you know, but you know, that discipline and the management that goes into sports, into a system that only pays a few is the same mindset. Again, to bring it back, what we need to be utilizing these AIs and these tools and businesses for to acquire land so we can build spaces where you can then police the industries that look out and over you without being so violent.
Correct.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be clear. I do want to be clear.
Yes.
You know, this doesn't have to be violent.
No.
It's a matter of agreement.
Correct.
It's really on what do we really value? And I think in our community, in our culture right now, I think that's what's really at stake right now is like the value.
Yeah. You don't have to step on each other when you can lift each other up.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And if you want to do that, just go play in that market that already exists.
Exactly.
We would like to do fair, square business over here.
Yes, correct.
And not have to look over our shoulder because the act of looking over your shoulder creates day-to-day pressure and stress that crams your mind.
Yes.
And you need that energy to be thinking about how you can create in business and do better business.
And this is how you know my brother is straight corporate now. He said that market already exists. He said the street market already exists.
It just does.
But it is a market. And trust me, there's an underground market. There's an underground market, but then there's an above ground market where you can sleep at night.
Hey,
you can sleep at night. You can make a good living for your family, and you can change the world.
Absolutely,
by Creative Corner Store. So, man, that's such a blessing. I'm just glad to have you here, man. Like I say,
appreciate you having me.
This is the first inaugural Don Davis Real Estate Podcast. Matter of fact, the tread, and I said on this one, I want to make sure on treading Proverbs 6:24 on making good decisions daily. And I know when it comes to investing, those are God-led decisions. I know the decision for you not to give up on God. So I felt like with the first episode, I wanted to definitely have you here, and I also wanted to let everybody know, hey, we didn't even rehearse, y'all. This is just a traditional conversation with Marquis and I when we get to talking about real estate, where we are, where we've been, and where we're going, and also where we're going as a people to take things to the next level. So we don't become a part of the system, but we actually navigate through the system, making good choices. So that's all I have for today. Once again, if they want to reach you, when is the next event, and also give them your website, book, and next event?
Yeah. Also, so I have a ChatGPT prompt.
Okay.
That I want to leave practically, and I want to leave it with you all, and you'll be able to find me on. You can find me at TikTok at Marquis Harmon.
Okay.
We're looking at the first week of August to do an impromptu pop up. Creative Corner Store.
Yes.
I try to, keep things as normal and natural.
Yes.
They put out the bird call and let's see who really shows up and who's about that life, right?
Okay.
Which creates an open concept. But you can definitely use this discovery prompt for ChatGPT, and it is a bit manual. It may take 10, 15 minutes maybe of writing.
Okay.
But what ChatGPT will do in minutes and give you is a starter kit for your business idea, your concept. Whether it's real estate deals, whether it's a contract you need to get something done, whether, whatever it is, a creative idea for a website.
Gotcha.
Use this prompt, interact with it, and give yourself a leg up on the competition, which is really yourself.
Yes. And I mentioned it earlier, the ChatGPT. Ironically, I was preparing for the show yesterday, and I said, let me just search my company name on ChatGPT. Man, Don Davis Realty Group that specializes in real estate. He has good reviews. And so I said, okay, I must be walking right. I must be walking right with the Lord. The ChatGPT said I'm good. And so, but ChatGPT is an amazing tool. I encourage all business owners to check yourself out on ChatGPT, and it'll tell you what you're putting out there. It's kind of like what they say. Some people say your logo is not your logo is what it says. It's not what you say to yourself. It's what you say to others. And so ChatGPT is really how the public views you based on what the internet is finding. This is how the public views you based on what the internet is finding.
Absolutely. And that was Web 2.
Yes,
e-commerce, website interactions and engagements.
Yes.
If you don't have a website, you didn't have a business.
Correct.
Now it's Web 3 and you take everything.
Yes.
And I encourage you to even pay that $20.
Yeah.
All my friends, we pay that $20. We build different chat GPTs for everything. I use it for every aspect of my life.
Gotcha.
I ask it a question. I have different from business to my emotional, mental well-being, my money, my dating life, whatever it is, like food choices.
On the emotional, it'll tell you like if you're having a bad day.
Give yourself an hour on ChatGPT.
Okay.
Like take back an hour that we give Meta and all these other companies and TikTok, and give yourself an hour with ChatGPT and make it your friend. Wow. So to segue very briefly into the next creative corner store.
Yes.
All we're doing is teaching how to prompt.
Okay.
From your perspective. I don't want to change you. I don't want to make you into a blockchain specialist. I just want to know what's on your mind.
Yes.
What you've been thinking about, let's blueprint and chill, with ChatGPT, and let's see how far it could get you tonight in 40 minutes.
Gotcha. So my homework for tonight, I'm going to ChatGPT first-time home buyers. I'm going to ChatGPT divorce rates for people who rent versus for people who own. I'll ChatGPT
those are good prompts.
Yeah. So those are literally things we use for meta tags on real estate.
Yes, sir. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So because we always trace it back to the state of, it's called SHIBA, the state of home ownership in Black America. And so when you say systematic racism and things like that, you'd be surprised how all this works together. So you have to find out, okay, divorce ratio, school rating, what do you call food desert? What do they call food deserts?
So real.
So sometimes how we can help. Some people say, "Hey man, give me $100 or teach me to fish." No, what they say? No, I'd rather teach you to fish than to give you fish. So basically, if I'm able to help your school, if I'm able to make sure your parents get counseling, if I'm able to then I'll have a legacy, making an impact on your legacy versus just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, that's all I have for today, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming out, Marquis.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, you're going to see me often anytime you open the doors of the church.
Oh, man, don't get me started, man. But pass the collection plate this way. I'm just kidding. Exactly. I'm just kidding.
Hey, as long as you let me read what you're doing with it, I'm fine.
That's it. That's the only point.
And because you're transparent, and that's what
it has to be.
Yeah. So, and that transparency goes a long way.
It has to be.
That transparency goes a long way, and so I don't mind investing in anything or anybody who's transparent and says, "Hey, this is the risk, this is the reward, and this is what we up against."
2 to 3 events at the Creative Corner Store. You should basically understand how the world around you will work in 2030. I guarantee you.
We need to do that. We
like
always
if nothing else, you will understand how to hit and miss and shick and jive. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to learn at an expert level, you will know that this has happened. I can't play with you. I got to go over here because you don't have my best interest.
Well, and in the real estate forecasting and the data analytics and the outliers and things like that, we should have known our first red flag. People saying interest rates are high, but then some people in another circle, home builders start building build-to-rent communities. When a whole subdivision is for rent versus purchasing, somebody knew something.
You would think it's common sense. Yeah. But even as somebody who's been around real estate for about 6 years and participates, I didn't even think of it from that perspective.
Yeah, so D.R. Horton, tell everybody,
they bought up a lot of Dallas Fort Worth, didn't they?
D.R. Horton Homes is one of my. I follow Don Peebles and I follow Donald Horton. Don Peebles is the richest Black man in real estate, Don Peebles. And then you got Robert Smith on the technology side. But on the home building side, I followed D.R. Horton for years. And the reason I followed D.R. Horton is one day I was at the car dealership, at a Benz dealership. I think I was getting my oil change or something. And I picked up a land magazine, and it said the top land owners in America. Yeah. So I'm looking at, these big old country singers, have the King Ranch and things like that. Yeah. But then I see the third one was like D.R. Horton Homes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's playing chess, not checkers.
Man.
If he owns the land,
Him and BlackRock as a whole.
So if they own the land,
BlackRock had
don't
me
matter.
out here bird dogging when I first got the dollars.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until hindsight I realized, I was part of the problem.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, I didn't know.
Hey, you were getting them to sell it.